New development from the Morrison Formation, Ceratosaurus has gotten even cooler. Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're going to dive on into it. For years, people have looked at those massive blade-like teeth of Ceratosaurus and wondered, was the dinosaur secretly a saber-tooth? Well, apparently, a new paper by, I'm probably about to butcher this last name, and I'm so sorry, Taylor Oswald, never mind, I'm just glazing over these notes really fast. And my friend, the first person I ever interviewed that was a paleontologist and will actually be a speaker at Prehistoric Live. I'm so excited about this paper because I actually have a very soft spot in my heart for Ceratosaurus. So I'm really happy that we're getting some really cool developments for Ceratosaurus. Have finally put this to the test using morphometrics. And the results show that Ceratosaurus teeth were actually more optimized for slicing than even the famous Smilodon. So I wish I had. Do I have Ceratosaurus here somewhere? I don't, and that genuinely disappoints me because I love Ceratosaurus. That's actually why I made it the main villain of my first Genesis Reserves book, or well, one of them. Don't want to spoil too much. Like, let's get the Ceratosaurus tree up in his house. Oop, gotta load it. Sorry. I'm super excited for this. Ceratosaurus is a really cool dinosaur, and I don't think it gets enough love. I think the biggest turmoil it's been in has been if it is semi-aquatic or not. Zoom in to Ceratosauridia. Look at those bad boys. Look at that. Let's get some Ceratosaurus art up in here. Let's just look at some cool. Yeah, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in on that face. These teeth right here. Actually, I think they have. Yes. Look at those. If you're telling me A is a cast of Ceratosaurus maxilla, B is Smilodon saber, C is Homotherium saber. Look at these massive saber. I do think I have saber-teeth somewhere, though. Maybe. Give me a moment. So apparently I may have left my saber-teeth at my house. I'm not currently there, which does kind of make me sad. But this is insane. This is just insane news. I mean, while some researchers thought these long teeth meant Ceratosaurus was a semi-aquatic fish eater, like later on the megalosaurid Spinosaurus, the data proves otherwise. Their tooth shape is nothing like a Spinosaurus and everything like a terrestrial specialist. So the theory with the semi-aquatic Ceratosaurus, which is actually an aspect of my book, Genesis Reserves, Roots of the Lost, I make them semi-aquatic. I can explain that through other stuff, genetic manipulation and all that from gators. We're not going down that rabbit hole. That's a whole different rabbit hole. These things are now thought to be, they enjoy near water environments. But now what we're saying is that they are actually terrestrial carnivores, because their teeth doesn't match that Fiscivorian Spinosaurid look. I also don't have a Spinosaurus tooth. Maybe I should do an analysis on Spinosaurus and Mosasaurus teeth comparison. I could sit here and read this, but I actually want y'all to go support this. I'll link the actual paper in the comment section down below. But yeah, let's keep getting into this. It turns out Ceratosaurus likely used these sabers to deliver lightning-fast, lethal bites to medium-sized prey, allowing it to kill quickly and avoid losing its meal to much larger Allosaurus prowling nearby. So, I mean, it would explain why. I mean, if it was Fiscivorian or preferred more aquatic prey, that would make sense. But it being able to lightning fast, like bite at a jugular and kill something quick, actually makes a lot of sense for a smaller predator in an environment with maybe some larger things that could easily bully it away from its prey. So it being able to actually strike down something quickly and effectively actually makes a lot of sense. Box with the whisker plot comparing the crown base ratio of Ceratosaurus is over here, Allosaurus, and Spinosaurid teeth. The Ceratosaurus and Allosaurus teeth are sorted by mouth region, i.e. premaxilla, maxilla, dentary, in order to illustrate heterodonty between mouth regions. So this is actually for those of you who don't know, because this is not something that I've covered on this channel. So there's two types of teeth. You have heterodont and homodont. It's a very easy thing to understand. This is just a little notebook that I have of stuff that I'm starting. Heterodonts are teeth that mean different teeth, literally. Teeth that are different types. You know, you have incisors, canines, premolars, molars, premaxilla, maxilla, etc., etc., etc. Homodonts are animals with the same type of teeth. A good example is like dental battery, where it's all just one type. This is actually a really big thing because this means that Ceratosaurus are actually also heterodonts, and this is actually could open the books for many dinosaurs becoming heterodonts, including what seems to be maybe Allosaurus too, could possibly be a heterodont. I just wanted to cover this because, oh, yes, Allosaurus do exhibit right there. There's your answer. Ignore that. That's just research for the dinosaur family tree for 2025 creatures. But I mean, like, look at Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus are now heterodonts. Well, they aren't now. I guess they were technically always heterodonts. We're just discovering this even more now. But this is actually an insane development because this adds so much more to Allosaurus. Like modern saber-toothed cats, Ceratosaurus likely targeted medium-sized prey for a quick kill in a crowded environment full of bigger bullies like Torvosaurus. You don't want a long, drawn-out struggle. You want to strike fast, kill instantly, and eat before someone bigger comes and takes it from you. So, I mean, this study also puts a major theory on ice. Some paleontologists suggest Ceratosaurus was a semi-aquatic predator, like the later Spinosaurus, because it's often found near water. But when the team compared teeth to Spinosaurids, there were zero match. These weren't fish hooks; they were meat cleavers. So why the saber-teeth? It comes down to niche partitioning. While the generalist Allosaurus was likely using a hack and slash method on almost anything that moved, Ceratosaurus was a specialist. So, I mean, okay. We have generalists and specialists. To go over what those mean, generalist means think of like a bear, it'll eat anything and everything. Allosaurid were carnivorous not specialists, they were generalists. Every kind of prey. Yeah. So, yeah, let's break down that specialist label. In the Morrison Formation, you had 3 massive predators living in the same backyard: Allosaurus, Torvosaurus, and Ceratosaurus. If they all hunted the same way, they'd eventually drive each other out of extinction through pure competition. Allosaurus was the jack of all trades. It had a relatively light bite, but the skull built to handle massive impact, the classic bite and slash technique. It could wear down giant sauropods over time or bully smaller ornithopods into, it was a generalist powerhouse. It would go for literally anything that moved. You were not safe from Allosaurus. It would come for you, hold you down, and eat you. It did not care. But Ceratosaurus, it took a completely different path. Its teeth were thinner and proportionately longer to those of its neighbors. This paper argues about the sabers, those kind of big ones, were designed for a very specific killing strike, the flesh-shearing precision bite, if you will, because Ceratosaurus was smaller and more lightly built than a 30-foot Allosaurus, you know, the smaller dinosaur. So it couldn't afford to wrestle and tussle for its dinner. If an Allosaurus or Torvosaurus came up to a Ceratosaurus, I'm giving you like 8 times out of 10 that Ceratosaurus is losing that fight and becoming the dinner along with whatever it was killing, or it gets scared off. The study suggests that evolved these hyper-thin curved blades. Ceratosaurus could target the soft tissue like the throat or belly of medium-sized herbivores. Think of Camptosaurus, not Dryosaurus. No, Dryosaurus. I'm thinking of Dryptosaurus maybe. This is the quick kill hypothesis. Think of it like a specialized surgical tool versus a heavy-duty axe. By killing its prey in seconds rather than minutes, Ceratosaurus minimized the risk of injury and, more importantly, reduced the dinner bell effect, which is kind of, it takes forever to kill something, so bigger preys come over and kill it and bully it away from its food. The faster the kill, the less noise and blood there is to attract a 2-ton Allosaurus looking to steal a free meal. Essentially, Ceratosaurus occupied the saber-tooth niche millions of years before mammals ever thought of it, carving out a life as the Jurassic's most efficient specialized hitman. These things were in, kill, out. They were fast, efficient, is what this paper is saying. They got that Gorgonopsid saber-tooth. Well, not the same type. They had multiple, but so yeah, it turns out Ceratosaurus wasn't just a weird allosaur. It was a precision engineering killing machine that found its own lane in the most competitive ecosystem in Earth's history. I mean, these things were very early in existence too, with some of their ancestors even existing during the very early Jurassic. Ooh, what are we doing here? And they were clearly successful because they kept going until the late Jurassic. And if you want to get technical, Abelisaurids kept going too. So I'm actually curious, and I'm challenging someone, literally anyone on this, to possibly look at Abelisaurids, or maybe even just early Abelisaurids. Maybe later Abelisaurids are a completely different thing. To look at those teeth, maybe they had some form of reduced saber teeth, possibly. I don't know. That is just a complete hypothesis here. Don't quote me on that. To really understand why Ceratosaurus was a precision-engineered machine, let me actually get away from my notes for a second and pull this picture back up because I know this is a really cool picture. Not that one, but here. What are we looking at? We have to look at the sheer physics of the mouth. While Allosaurus had teeth that were fairly robust, I do actually have Allosaurus and Torvosaurus here. So we're going to look at the Allosaurus here that you can actually see its teeth that well. I mean, this is also the Saurophagnax from PNSO, which isn't actually a dinosaur anymore, and it's Allosaurus anax or anax for those. Well, Allosaurus had teeth that were fairly robust and serrated with general meat tearing. Ceratosaurus went all out on the lateral compression. Now, what does that mean? Lateral compression is a common orthopedic injury. Let's a type of that does not make sense. We're going to ignore that one. Actually, I think this goes into it. Thinking of it this way, if an Allosaurus tooth is a steak knife, a Ceratosaurus tooth is a scalpel. So it's, instead of just like slicing chunks off, just taking chunks and making little slivers and just biting off what it can. Ceratosaurus went into you and did not come out. Just sliced you open very precisely. I don't think that's a word. Like I said earlier, this paper highlights their teeth have a remarkable low crown-base ratio. They were incredibly thin from side to side, but massive in height. So, again, think like a very thin knife. Think like a scalpel is a good example, or maybe even like a fillet knife, I think could work for an example. I think maybe a slightly better example because scalpels aren't that long. So I think maybe a fillet knife would be a little better. This morphology is a high-risk, high-reward strategy. It's perfect for slicing through muscle and arteries with almost zero resistance, but it's vulnerable to snapping if the prey struggles too much. Same problem with the more modern saber-toothed cat. One of the big issues was if it bites into you and you jerk at the right angles and yada yada, the teeth might break and snap and send the Smilodon flying. Or in this case, the Ceratosaurus teeth might break out if the prey struggles too much. This is where the precision comes in. To use these sabers without breaking them, Ceratosaurus likely had a specialized neck and jaw anatomy that allowed a massive... actually, let's get this beautiful picture back up, showing some of that more Ceratosaurus anatomy. Where was I? Massive. Okay. Break them. Ceratosaurus likely had specialized neck and jaw anatomy that allowed for a massive gap, gape, and opening wide enough to clear those long upper teeth, so they could have driven downward with point accuracy. It wasn't just biting; it was driving those blades into a vital spot. So what this is saying. I'm going to use this Torvosaurus, even though it's not a Ceratosaurus. I'm well aware it's not a Ceratosaurus, so don't... Actually, you know what? Go ahead. Have fun in the comments. Go, it's not a Ceratosaurus. Have fun with that. So instead of just biting, its jaw could open... Actually, I think the Ceratosaurus, the Anax does a little better. Its jaw would probably open a little wider than what it was necessary to thought. And it would drive them down, sticking those giant blades into like the neck or the artery. I'm just saying the neck because that seems to be the general consensus for saber-teeth. And nick those arteries or the windpipe, suffocating you in your blood or cutting blood off to your brain, killing you fairly quick. And check out the ecosystem context. In the Morrison Formation, you had an arms race of predators. You had Torvosaurus, the heavyweight bruiser, this big bulking creature that just knocked things around. Allosaurus, the high population generalist. There were a crap ton of Allosaurs. If I'm not mistaken, it made up like 70% of the Morrison Formation theropod taxa, which is absolutely insane that these Goliath monsters that will eat anything were the top population of literally anything, which is insane. That's like if just like there were like 1,000 tigers in like a zoo with like a total population of like 10,000. It's crazy. That math probably doesn't add up, but don't overthink it. And Ceratosaurus, a specialized hitman, if you will. By evolving to kill medium-sized prey like Dryosaurus or juvenile Camptosaurus in a single devastating strike, Ceratosaurus avoided the messy, loud, and dangerous battles that its larger cousins were fighting. So think like Torvosaurus takes down this large sauropod. Rah! It takes down the large sauropod, bites it, throws it down, or maybe not large sauropod, but like more younger, medium-sized sauropod. And the sauropod's still struggling while the Torvosaurus is biting at it. And some Allosaurus walk by, and they're like, you know what? I'm hungry. Let's go steal that Torvosaurus's prey. So they would have to fight and all that good jazz. They'd have to fight and battle for that sauropod. And this also makes Ceratosaurus even more unique because it's one of those few dinosaurs with 4 fingers instead of the usual 3 or 2 for Tyrannosaurs. And it has a very weird tail that possibly led people to think that it was semi-aquatic. It has crests and a nasal crest. It has 3 crests. And now it has saber-teeth. This makes it even more unique. It even had a unique body plan to support this. Those deep tail bones, like I was just talking about, and 4-finger hands might have given it the stability to grip needed to pin a struggling animal just long enough to land that one perfect saber bite. It didn't need to be the biggest dinosaur in the Morrison. It just needed to be the most efficient. It's a classic example of convergent evolution. Millions of years before the first cat ever grew a fang, Ceratosaurus had already mastered the saber-tooth lifestyle, proving that when the competition gets tough, the weird survive by getting specialized. And I'm even going to take this a step farther. Before Ceratosaurus, we had Gorgonopsids who had already done this. They had the big saber teeth. They went for the jugular and all that. So these 4 fingers might have actually been used for kind of grappling, stabilizing prey so it could land that precision bite right in the jugular or the soft underbelly, killing prey more effectively. I mean, this is an amazing study. This is an absolutely amazing study. And I love you, Dr. Brian Curtice. You are my man. You got the Morrison Formation down packed. And here's a bunch of data here. I'm going to scroll through this. Baryonyx, Suchomimus, Allosaurus, all that good jazz. I'm going to link this in the comment section down below. This is a very rushed episode. I didn't really have a big plan for this episode. And I'm really hoping I can maybe ask Dr. Brian Curtice to talk about this during more in depth than what I can during Prehistoric Live. But I absolutely love Ceratosaurus. Not as much as Allosaurus. I love Allosaurus because it brought me into the world of paleo, and therefore it's the beloved creature for me. But Ceratosaurus is a dinosaur that I feel does not get a lot of representation, and if it does, it's usually being bullied or picked on. Like, look at horrible example. I think it's like Jurassic or Dinosaur Fight Club. It literally is just getting bullied by Allosaurus. Or Jurassic Park 3, it's literally just the dinosaur that sniffed poop and then left. So I'm actually happy that we're getting a lot of new stuff on Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus is a very undermined, very awesome dinosaur that I think I wish got a lot more really cool representation. I'm really glad that it finally is. Yeah, but like I was saying, this is a very random episode. I like literally discovered this paper like today when I was on YouTube. Like I was literally on YouTube and I got a notification that Fossil Crates uploaded a new video about Ceratosaurus as a saber-tooth. And I was like, something don't seem right there. That don't seem, what do you talk about? So, you know, like a normal person, I went to Google and I was like, is Ceratosaurus a saber-tooth? Right there. Oh, well, that's actually me asking if it's semi-aquatic because I was curious if that's still a thing. I have no idea where I asked if it was a saber-tooth. Right here. I looked up. Is Ceratosaurus have saber-teeth? I literally was like, does Ceratosaurus have saber-teeth? And it was just like, yes. And I was like, okay, cool. AI overview. Let's not trust that. Let's scroll through some links. First link, Fossil Crates Instagram, Fossil Crates Facebook page, Facebook, the horned lizard named by Marsh in 1884, Dinopedia fandom, Instagram for Fossil Crates, TikTok for Fossil Crates. So I was like, okay, let's scroll. Facebook, Wikipedia, ResearchGate. Now that's where it's at. That's what this link is. So I went to this link and I just started looking over this and I was like, Ceratosaurus is saber-toothed. Dude, we getting updates. Ceratosaurus is getting updates. I'm in love with this. I love Dr. Persons, not Dr. Persons. Dr. Brian Curtice. I don't know why I said Dr. Persons because it's supposedly my professor. Dr. Brian Curtice. If you're watching this right now, I love you, man. You are amazing. You are doing the Morrison Lord's work. I mean, your work on sauropods alone, the sauropod slayer, that is your nickname by me and a couple friends. We call you the sauropod slayer. And now you are the Ceratosaurus saber fighter. I don't know. It's still workshopping. This dude is doing the Morrison Formation work. And Oswald, I don't know you. I haven't interviewed you. If you're watching this, I love you too, man. Ceratosaurus is amazing. I love you. I love you guys. I'm so happy that we're finally getting some cool Ceratosaurus stuff. But I think that is all from me. I will link this paper again in the comment section down below if you guys want to go read it. I highly recommend you read it so you get a better understanding than I do. But I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Have a great afternoon, morning, evening, or night. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Life. And remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye. If you follow my account, you probably like dinosaurs, fossils, in the prehistoric world. And if you have ever shopped for fossils, you'll see that a lot of them have some very high prices, rightfully so, because they are usually one-of-a-type specimen. Then you go look for casts, and you see a lot of these low-quality casts going around, so you just don't know what to do. You either have to buy something super expensive or something super low quality. Enter dinosaur skeletons. Dinosaur Skeletons specializes in creating museum-quality replicas of prehistoric life and is renowned for its highly detailed reconstructions. Founded by a professional paleo artist with over a decade of experience in the collectibles industry, they are dedicated to providing enthusiasts, collectors, and institutions with the opportunity to own magnificent, lifelike prehistoric replicas. Each creation is crafted with exceptional care and attention to detail. This means they are highly accurate to their source material, super high quality, and museum-grade level quality. This is probably the closest you could get to bringing home a museum exhibit. They're also fairly affordable for the accuracy and quality put into it. which also means they make great gifts for birthdays and holidays for that collector or dinosaur enthusiast you know. So go check out Dinosaur Skeletons and get your cast today. Huge shout out to today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you enjoy these majestic creatures I talk about here on the podcast and would like to go see them for yourself, I would heavily recommend Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips is a company created to give people a behind-the-scenes in-look on museums and dig sites, along with just having an amazing time looking at these amazing, fabulous, majestic creatures. So if you sound interested, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them Prehistoric Life sent you and get $250 off your tickets. Now, back to the show.